It's a report from the National Institute of Economic and Social Research, and it's warning of a three-quarter technical recession, whatever that is.
Well, let's find out from somebody who knows a lot more than we do about these things. Economics commentator Laurie Laird and friend to the show.
Good morning.
Please explain.
It does. Those words together don't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I saw this copy, I thought, what are they talking about? What I think they're saying is roughly, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of contraction in an economy. That's a very, very rough sort of definition of recession. In fact, the U.S. has just experienced that. Not clear whether the U.S. is in recession or not. And I think what the NIESR is saying is that we'll see 3 consecutive quarters where the economy does not grow. That would be called a recession under the most conventional definition. But I think recession is quite a loaded word. We all get a little bit scared, particularly after the financial crisis. During the financial crisis, the economy contracted by 6%. That is a whopping amount. I think we're unlikely to see that kind of a contraction. I think what we're likely to see is a little bit of growth, maybe a little bit of contraction, and we end 2023 pretty much where we are now. One of the things we tend to see in a recession, though, is a massive rise in unemployment. So during the financial crisis, unemployment was at about 5%. We went up to about 8.5%. That, I think, is very, very unlikely this time around. Unemployment under 4%. As many job openings, vacancies right now as there are unemployed people. In fact, my lightly skilled kids have managed to get jobs. So I don't think we're going to see what we saw during the financial crisis. That doesn't mean it's not going to hurt for a lot of people.
Or even going back to the 1970s, when people have been drawing parallels to the situation in the 1970s when we did have really bad unemployment. Where does this now leave the Bank of England, who are going to be deciding on the interest rate rise tomorrow? Many people suggesting it will be a 0.5% rise as a short, sharp shock to the economy. They will actually be quite keen to have this talk of recession, because it will damp down spending, which is what they want to happen.
To a certain extent, I think it's a very, very good question, and I think the Bank of England has to go with that 0.5-point rise. Andrew Bailey, the governor of the Bank of England, who has trouble communicating effectively with the rest of us.
As he did in the FCA, some people suggest, the Financial Conduct Authority.
Don't get me started on that one, honestly, because I've always thought that he was a poor choice for the governor of the Bank of England, given the things that happened when he was the top regulator. But a couple of weeks ago at the Mansion House speech, he said 50 basis points, 0.5 percentage point is on the table. I think that having painted himself into that corner, he's got to go ahead and do that, although he's not the only vote on a 9-member committee. Yeah. But what the Bank of England has been pretty clear about is, and they'll say this, we can't affect the price of oil. We can't affect the price of food. Here's what we want. We want to make sure that people know that we're serious about inflation so that they don't ask for pay rises. Pay rises can become a vicious cycle. If you ask for a pay rise, then you have more money in your pocket. That becomes inflationary. So the Bank of England's been very clear. That's what they want to do. They want to make sure that pay isn't getting out of hand. When you look at public sector pay, it's not anywhere near getting out of hand, rising about 1.5 percentage points a year.